Mother of God, he wants me to walk down this. Jesus, this is steep. If I slip and fall, I'm suing. This is, man, with all the wet leaves, that's going to be an interesting entry with all the dive gear. So this is a new spot to me. Clayton actually has been diving here for a little bit. Oh, that's not the worst part. Oh my God. Bro, he could have told me to wear hiking boots. It's like, Jesus. This is like the worst. This is way worse than up top. Oh my God. Bro, you understand that I have to carry dive gear, right?
Used to go quite a bit further.
Oh God.
Boo.
This is pretty. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. This is Henry. I got Clayton with me, and Adam is up there in the bush, just coming down. Even Adam is too scared to walk down here. Bro, look how steep that is.
I'll be down eventually.
So, tell us about the site here.
Yeah, so this is a site that's been pretty popular for years. I call it the log. This log goes out probably 100 feet or so. And there used to be these really large branches that you had boards on them and people would climb up and jump off. So it's just a really popular site that is away from the main beach. So people come down here drinking, tie up boats, tie up floaties, whatever against the log here. And there's so many cans here. I've probably dove this site at least 6 times and I always find more and more cans.
All right. What's the depth here?
I would say at the very end of the log, maybe up to 50.
Okay.
But progressively shallower as you go in.
All right. Of course, yeah. So Lindell Beach, the community is there. The cliff to Lindell is directly across from us, and we've done a bunch of cleanups here. The very first cleanup I ever did there with Cooperation of BC Parks, we took out 1,500 pounds in one dive. Clayton, actually, a few videos ago, and I'll put a link somewhere, he took a drone down to depth and found a wallet.
A wallet, a couple Apple Watches, sunglasses.
Yeah.
The main one was a GoPro that had been underwater for over 10 years. And was actually able to find the owner, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But obviously with the drone, it just takes forever because you're picking up one thing.
Yeah.
You pick up one item.
Super cool. Had the little claw, but like, I'm nowhere near trained enough to spend any time at 120 feet, especially just to get trash. It's really not worth the risk. So.
No, not really. Anyway, all right, we're going to get in the water. Let's see what we can go find. So as I stepped into the water to begin my dive, I noticed this white thing in the water. At first I thought it was a golf ball. As it turned out, it was an egg. Now, the first time I saw a couple of eggs was at Cultus Lake. And at first I thought, just like the randomest thing. People just hucking like eggs into the water. And then one of my viewers pointed out that Canadian geese are really careless with their eggs when they lay them. And yeah, so there was probably a Canadian geese here that laid their egg inadvertently in the water, I suppose. So yeah, this is pretty funny. Anyway, you can see here a tremendous pile of debris. This is sort of around like the 15 to 10 to 20 feet range. I have a suspicion this pile here is a direct result of the landslide that happened at Maple Bay a little while ago that pretty much destroyed the Maple Bay campground. It's a really shallow band, and I picked up some trash, and I wanted to keep going. There was actually a lot more trash in that band, but I wanted to get deeper quickly and then kind of work my way back up. So you can see here lots of trash that are covered by silt, and that silt is direct result of that landslide that happened at Maple Bay, Cultus Lake. Anytime I pick up any trash, it's just an absolute silt cloud. You can see here, I'm actually missing a ton of stuff. You can see a bottle to my right there. And as I try to grab things, I kind of inadvertently miss them. Yeah, I missed that bottle. Like literally, it's just because I just can't see what I'm doing, and there's so much trash. Absolutely ridiculous amount. Really fine silt, and I'm sure as you're watching this video, you're probably noting the bottles that I'm missing to my left and to my right. Pair of sunglasses, and then as I go along here, when I see multiple bottles of cans, I'll drop my lift bag, and then I'll grab my I'll go out and swim over, grab as many cans and bottles as I can, come back to the lift bag as I dropped it. This took like so much time because there's so much trash. It was ridiculous. You'll see a little crayfish dart out right about there. There was actually a tremendous amount of crayfish. I'm quite pleased that they survived the silt cloud that pretty much covered the lake for about a year or so from the landslide. This is from the atmospheric river that hit Cultus Lake like a few years ago, actually. So, anyways, I'm quite pleased the crayfish actually survived that. I have my doubts, but as you can see here, lots of silt and lots of garbage, picking up what I can. Again, just dropping my lift bag, swimming over to patches of garbage that I see, coming back to the same spot, moving, picking up trash. This kind of just repeats itself for quite a while. This is a great example as you look in this particular view here, or you can see multiple bottles that I'm missing, multiple cans that I'm missing, and I'm really trying hard to grab what I can, creating silt cloud. And of course, as soon as I create a silt cloud, I can no longer see what I'm doing. I can pick up like the first 1 or 2 bottles, and then I miss the rest. Did run into Adam. You can see him here just to my right. And so what I'm doing is I'm actually just taking the time to observe how he dives in the water, 35 feet of water. And I'm gesturing here for him to follow me because I can see that he had enough trash in his bag that he really needed to deploy his lift bag, and he's just not highly experienced in this, which is totally fine. It's a learning curve, and I'm pointing to him that he needs to actually deploy his lift bag. So here he is getting his lift bag out, and I'm telling him to put 1 breath into the lift bag just to get it slightly buoyant, because you don't want to overdo it, because otherwise you just take off to the surface. So here is Adam and I swimming together, and seeing as he's right next to me, I've just decided my bag was actually quite full already, so I just started to hand him beer cans to put in his bag, and I'm pointing out pieces of trash just in case he missed it. And at some point I kind of just left him be. I think this is my bag. No, that's Adam's bag still. His bag didn't have a ton of trash in it, so I just kind of shoved the stuff into his bag. So here's where I find like a little a fender attached to a poly rope, and this is just an absolute butt ton of rope here. I'm pulling and pulling, and then I realize the rope is actually stuck underneath this log. Now, so what I figured out afterwards is that this particular mooring buoy would have been sitting there in the water for quite some time, and then very likely the landslide pushed this particular log over the rope and actually sank, and that's why it caused this log was sitting over the rope. Pulled as much as I could, and then decided to go over the log to find what is actually attached to the other end, and this is a 28-pound anchor. Super annoying, just because like I just knew this is like a long rope, and I got to deal with it with the log in the middle of the rope, and I wasn't really sure how I was going to deal with that, so I pulled out my cutting device. This is a troglodyte easy cut, I think it's called, and you can see here, if you look carefully, it actually just completely destroys this thing trying to cut through this rope. The rope is actually much too big for this particular cutter. This particular cutter is actually meant for cave lines, for cutting cave lines. Took a bit of effort, but eventually I was able to just cut this rope, because remember, the anchor is on one end of the log, and then the fenders on the other end, or on one side of the log, and the fenders on the other side of the log, and I need to basically cut the rope in the middle so I can actually free both items. So destroyed my cutter, which has, that cutter probably has like over 600 dives on it. Eventually destroyed it. That's fine. And it is a consumable item. Shoved the fender with the rope, which was a little awkward just because it was actually a lot of rope. And then I've messed up the visibility so much that I just left everything as is, and because I knew that I couldn't see the anchor to work with it. So went over, picked up a bunch of beer cans, and then eventually came back to find the anchor itself. And what I did is tied an overhand knot with the rope that was left on the anchor still. This is me tying the knot. Grabbed the carabiner, fed it through the loop that I just made on this overhand knot. Clipped that off to the lift bag system, and then breathed out some air into the lift bag. Here we go. I'm hopscotching that anchor all the way over. It is 28 pounds, so underwater is a little bit awkward. And here's where I'm just exhaling some air into the lift bag, trying to get this whole mess of onion bags and anchor a little bit more neutrally buoyant so I can actually keep going. So then you can see here by the light, the ambient lighting, that I'm actually getting shallower and shallower, bringing my lift bag with me, of course, and picking up garbage all the way back up. I think it was like 40 something feet. I think I'm over 30 minutes into my dive at this point, and I knew that I needed to do a safety stop and end my dive pretty soon, mostly just because I'm actually getting pretty cold in the water, and as well as my bags were getting full. Decided to do my safety stop right at that the band of really nasty sort of jungle gym of wood debris, I guess that would be what you would call it. I can see so much trash in between all of these branches and sticks and so on, but honestly it was just so hard to get to it. I tried reaching in between things to pick them up, and definitely had a difficult time. You can see here, this is like a good visual of the amount of crap. I did reach in, grab the solo cup right there, and then I try to reach in to grab something, and I think this is the part where I saw 2 or 3 beer cans, and honestly I just couldn't get to it just because there was so much debris and I lost visibility very, very quickly. So you can see here my collection is floating off the bottom because I'm at the surface. That's the end of the dive there. Clayton happened to be standing right there. I think it was actually just waiting for me. You can see here, that's his foot. He's helping me drag the stuff into the water. There's the anchor. There's 2 bags of beer cans and so on. I was pretty grateful for Clayton for helping me out here, because it's always super awkward to get out of the water when it's that shallow. So the only thing left to do was to lay everything out for our photo op and to weigh and categorize everything. That was a really fun dive. Okie dokie, here we go. This is what we got so far. What's our math on this?
80, 100, there's 129 cans, 86 bottles, 7 cups.
So what's the total number of containers?
Math.
Math! That's the buoy that was attached to this anchor that I found. Oops. Anchor.
86, I think.
Yep. Some more bottles. Did you count those 2 bottles?
Yeah, 86.
Yeah. Clayton found the tire. Some old sunglasses, some plastic cups. 1 fin.
222.
222. And that's including the plastic bottle?
Yeah.
So guys, that was a fun dive. Adam performed well today. Got a full bag, I think, right? You got a full bag?
Full bag.
Yeah, got a full bag. 167 pounds, something like that. 222 bottles. 223.
Oh, yeah.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for my Patreon supporters. Thanks for sponsorship from Pacific Pilsner, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.